Today we're going to learn how to construct a congruent triangle. So you have to start with a triangle. Now the idea here will be to first make the bottom part of the triangle by making a congruent line segment. Then we're going to make two congruent angles. One congruent angle for the left side of the triangle and one congruent angle for the right side of the triangle. When we connect those two lines, the third vertex of the triangle will automatically be made. So the first step is to make a congruent line segment to the bottom of the triangle. As before, to make a congruent line segment, you start by making a ray. That has the arrow at the end and a point on the left. Now you put the center of your compass up on the triangle, and you move it back and forth to see which number best lines up with the other end point of the segment. Mine looks like it's 99. Put a little mark through there and label it 99 so that your teacher knows that you actually lined it up. Now move the compass down to your ray, put your center on the point, and use the same number that you just used. Make a small arc to cross the ray. Where your arc crosses the ray, put a point, and you now have the bottom part of the triangle. There's no need to erase the right side of it. It's nice to leave that there so that the teacher knows that you started with the ray. Now we're going to make a congruent line segment, or a congruent angle, to the left angle of the triangle. To make a congruent angle, you put the center of your compass on the point. You pick an arc number that's going to cross your triangle twice. I picked 25. Don't forget that number because the next step is to go down to your ray, put the center on the end point, and use the same number to make an arc. Now up in the top picture, your arc crossed your triangle twice. Put the center of your compass on one of those points and figure out which number goes over the second point. Mine looks like 30 matches up pretty well. Make a small arc there and label it 30 to show that you lined it up. Now go back down to your ray and put a point where the ray crosses the arc. Put your center on that point and use the same number that you just used, for me that's 30, to make an arc. Connect the point where the arcs cross to the end of your ray. That's the left side of the triangle. You can put an arrow on the end to show that it's an angle if you'd like, but the arrow's not going to affect the final answer. Now we need to construct an angle on the right side of the triangle to match the right side of the triangle. Put the center of your compass on the right vertex and draw an arc that crosses your triangle twice. Make sure you remember that number because the next step is to move back down to your ray. The end point that we found for the bottom of our triangle, put the center there and use the same number that you just used to make an arc. Now go back up to the triangle. The arc from the number 23 crossed the triangle twice. Put the center on one of those points and spin the compass around until you figure out which number matches up with the second point. For me it looks like 16. Draw a little arc and put the number 16 so you don't forget. Go back down to your ray. Where the arc crossed the ray, put your center. Draw an arc using the same number you just used. Where those arcs cross, it's going to let you draw a line to the other side. Now oftentimes, you might have to make the first side longer, but where the left side and the right angle, left angle and right angle cross, becomes your third vertex of the triangle. Now it's always nice to mark the bottom left angle was congruent to the bottom left angle in the picture. The bottom right angle was congruent to the bottom right angle in the picture. And the other congruency we used was the bottom of the triangle. And those two triangles are congruent.